Somebody played a dirty, rotten trick on me, and I'm mad. Look at my tennis shoes. Those are my favorite shoes. I use them almost every day. And look what a mess they are. All tangled up, all knotted up. Somebody played a trick on me. Now, how am I ever going to get those untangled? The same person that tied them ought to untie them. Yeah. Well, here's a story. And it goes back to when I was just a kid. And every time I'd get a knot in my shoelaces or something, I'd holler out, "Dad, I got a knot in my shoes. Can you get it out for me?" And from somewhere back on the other side of the house, he'd holler back the same words, "Nope. You do it." Sounds like my dad. And he would finish it by saying, "There's no knot you can't untie." But it's too hard. It's pulled too tight. I've jerked on it 2 or 3 times, and now it's really knotted up, and what a mess. And he would say, "There is no knot you can't untie." And you know what? He was right. Now, sometimes it takes a little bit of study to figure out just which line goes over which one. I mean, there's almost always something that goes over something and goes under something, and there's always something that kind of, you can start working it, and if you work it just right and you keep pulling on it and you keep getting something loosened up, pretty soon you can actually start to see we're making progress. So when I was a parent and my kids would holler at me, "Dad, I got a knot in my shoelace," or "I got a knot in my project," or "my fishing line," or whatever it was, you know what I said? "Nope. There's no knot you can't untie." I want to share this with you because Justin's going to start school tomorrow. Some of you are going to start school your own way. And there's a lesson here to be learned. There isn't a single textbook written by man you can't understand. There's not a math problem you can't dig far enough to figure out how to solve. There's not a teacher that is so tough that you can't figure out how to get that lesson learned. I want you to understand, it's not about shoes, not about shoelaces. It's about figuring out how to face life with a positive conviction on the inside of your heart that there's not a single thing I can't untie. I don't care if you're going in the military and you're going to start boot camp, or whether you're starting 8th grade. There's nothing you can't do. Now, sometimes we need a little help. I mean, I'll be honest, not everybody can figure it out on their own. I showed all my kids how to untie knots. It's not that I didn't teach them what they needed to know, but I wanted them to know and have the confidence to be able to grab a hold of life and not just back up, throw their hands up in the air and say, "Okay, this is beyond me. I can't figure this out." I was in college my freshman year, and I was taking a course called botany. I didn't much like the teacher. That might have been part of my problem. And at the midterm, my dad and mom came over to visit me. And I said, "I got to go home. I'm failing my class. I can't figure out botany. It's too tough. He expects too much. He demands too much." And I heard my dad's voice again, and he said, "Buddy, don't you ever give up in the middle of what could be the best class you've ever had. Don't you ever give up. And I went in and I dug in and I got a B plus out of that class from a 0, an F at midterms. I'm going to tell you this because I love you and I want you to do the best. Do not think, no matter where you might find yourself in the middle of this thing we call life, there's nothing you can't attack. There's nothing you can't accomplish. And I'll figure out how to get my shoes all untangled, and I'll wear them again tomorrow probably to watch the eclipse. I want you to do well. I want you to go in there with your minds charged up and your heart fully convinced God's going to take care of this. He's going to follow this thing through, and we're going to get it done. Okay? Agreed? Everybody in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed, the same sign? It's unanimous. We're going to do well this year. Thank you for coming up and sharing the children's chat.